After I graduated from state, I hired on with the Pontiac Police Department. I was there for 2 years, and I got laid off. This was in 1978. I graduated state in '76. And so I was working in an RV repair shop, waiting for them to call us back. And just so happens that a friend of mine, who I attended MSU with, had a girlfriend in Grand Rapids. And he went, now his wife. But anyway, he called me one day and he said, "Hey, I was just in Grand Rapids and I heard that they were hiring police officers." And I said, okay. So I drove over there a couple of days later and I got downtown, never been there in my life. I'm born and raised in the city of Detroit, and got lost. Finally find the clerk's office, and I walk in and I said, "I understand you're hiring police officers." And she says, she looks at me and she goes, "Yes, and you'll be the last one because we quit taking applications at 4 o'clock today." Well, she had looked at a clock on the wall. It was 10 to 4. 30 days later, I'm pushing a cruiser around Grand Rapids, the city streets in Grand Rapids. 5 years later, I get a call. I'm sitting at my dinner table one night and I get a call. "Mr. Corso, yes, this is the Drug Enforcement Administration. You applied for this job 7 years ago. Do you still want it?" I said, "Sure." So the next thing I know, I'm in Glencoe, Georgia. I complete the academy, and the rest is history. They sent me to Los Angeles, where I spent 12 years, then to Hawaii for 4 years, back to headquarters, back to Los Angeles, and in 2005, I was promoted to the special agent in charge of the Detroit division. In the current role, it's I oversee all the drug investigations, administrative requirements, intelligence aspect for the best federal law enforcement agency on earth. We only have one mission. All we do is the drugs, but that incorporates the illegal drugs, obviously. We have a section called diversion, which polices the doctors, dentists, anybody, pharmaceutical manufacturers, that kind of thing. And then we have our intelligence side. We work the 64 worst violators on planet Earth, and that's our mission. My day is a lot of administrative work now, budgeting and that kind of thing, then overseeing, giving approval for major operations and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of I'm still in it, but I do wear a coat and tie and fly a desk rather than put handcuffs on people anymore. Obviously, the School of Criminal Justice was paramount in just the education and the things that I learned through there. But in total, it was the whole experience. I mean, I was a street smart kid from the city of Detroit when I got here. I didn't know that, this kind of beauty. I mean, that's what sold me on MSU really, before I knew anything, was the campus. I fell in love with the campus. It was, to me, that was what a college was supposed to be. And, but just, meeting the people from all over the country and all over the world, really, and everything that was available here, I did it all. I took advantage of all of it. Broke my leg on the tartan turf in Michigan, in the stadium, playing football. Intramural sports. I learned how to fly an airplane here. Plus all the social activities. I got my draft number here back in the days when they still had the draft, and I was number 1. It was the only lottery I've ever won. But then Nixon came out 3 weeks later and ended the Vietnam conflict, so I didn't have to go. But it was really the total thing. That, I mean, I was a resident assistant at Mary Mayo Hall for 2 years. I stayed on campus all 4 years. I loved the campus life. I was a teaching assistant for Professor Barkley on human sexuality. A long time ago. I did that for 2 years. MSU swallowed me up, and I just became part of it. And it was just, I mean, I lived in Mayo. Lizards was right across the street, and the grinder shop, and just so many memories. All the concerts. I saw the Beach Boys and Peter Frampkin, and Leo Kottke. it was, you know, much to the chagrin of my mother, I came home on the holidays. I just, especially the last 2 years when I was an RA, I was here early, got to stay late, and it was just the lifestyle. But it exposed me to so much, and then with literally the global agency that I ended up working for, it gave me, you know, the memories and obviously, again, like the stuff I learned, it gave me the knowledge and the know-how, how to talk to people, how to deal with people, you know, the RA stuff, the teaching assistant stuff. It really rounded me out, the whole experience. And then plus, you know, with the reputation of the School of Criminal Justice in law enforcement, I mean, being the oldest, the premier school in criminal justice, when I got to DEA, I was stunned to find out that several of the major players in DEA were MSU grads. And as soon as I said that, you know, it was like, ooh, okay, you know. So it was just all in all, it was just the 4 years. It was just really hard to put into words. Like I said, it swallowed me up, and I just loved it. It turns out people that are going to give back. You know what I mean? It's a stepping stone. It's not a starting place. I mean, you know, you have to have the desire and the ways and means, obviously, to get to college. But you learn that stuff. But I think a big part of learning in the classroom is knowing how to learn once you leave here. It's teaching you the basics. It's giving you the foundation to get out on the street, especially in law enforcement, which I'm 37 years of carrying a gun. When I graduated state, I mean, I swore in, and I'm still doing it. And I am one of the blessed. I have never had to work a day in my life. But what MSU really, any school, you can't teach on the job experience. You know, you have to live it. But you need that foundation to go out there and not get hurt. You have to be tactically sound. You have to have a high, you know, ethical mentality. You have to know. You have to be able to determine, you know, like, again, good and bad. And in law enforcement on the street, you know, the blue suit guys, I did 7 years on that. You know, split-second decisions that the courts will take years to determine if you made the right one. But again, it's that basis, it's that foundation that really, to me, anybody outside of law enforcement is what I know and that's what I talk about, but really anybody in engineering or veterinary science or whatever, you can't teach that experience, but you need that solid foundation on which to build from. And I think that's why, you know, this program is so important.